Good morning, welcome to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Ben from Scott's Lawn Care, and oh yes, it's that time of year where we need to really pay attention. Now, obviously we've had the starting stages of our lawn at this point, being near the end of May, but lots to think about. Even at this stage, at the end of May, on where we should start and what we should be doing right now to really make sure that we have a beautiful lawn this year. So what do you suggest?
I think the most important piece is, of course, start off with the right ingredients. So at this point, we've had a couple of cuts now on our lawns.
Yep.
After a very long winter, feeding is going to be critical.
Okay.
At this point, we're probably looking at a warmer summer, and you want to make sure that your grass grows a little bit taller,
okay,
and that your nutrients are available.
That's a good tip, right? Because some people really take their lawn right down, and then it gets scorched,
yes,
and then
yes,
it just starts a bad cycle.
Correct.
Doesn't it?
It's appropriate to do that early spring and,
right,
and late fall, but for the summertime, you want to leave it as long as possible at about 3 inches.
Okay, I think that's a really good tip for people to remember.
Yes, yes.
Okay, get that lush green and
yes,
some depth and density
yes,
to it.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you haven't fertilized your lawn yet, you start off by a good fertilizer.
Okay.
So with the Scott's Lawn Care fertilizer, of course, excellent product. It has 3 particles in one, so what it does, it actually feeds consistently throughout the season. It's good for about 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, that's beautiful,
it's
right? And
absolutely
that's
beautiful.
what you want. I mean, people, again, don't have as much time these days. They want that beautiful lawn, but to be on top of it all the time, it's hard, right?
Yes.
And you get to your weekend, you want to enjoy your weekend. So
that's right,
having that 6 to 8 weeks, that takes us through a large time of our summertime. So
yes,
that's nice. Okay,
yes,
good. All right, so now where do we go?
For those that are really keen on a very deep, dark green and lush lawn, we have a real special ingredient, which is the Scott's Max fertilizer. It has a higher iron content, and it actually gives you lots of deep green, lush grass.
Oh, I love that, right? A lot of people do. A lot of people really do care about that,
yes,
that in their grass. Some just want it to be, just not look brown, but that gives it a little bit more depth,
yes,
right?
Yes,
okay, all right.
Yes. Once you've done your feeding, I think watering is going to be an important piece. You want to make sure that your lawn gets at least 1 inch of water every week.
Every week.
Most people like to water regularly. The best thing is actually do every other day a deep watering, and it's an easy trick. You put a little teacup or something out there just to collect the water up to 1 inch.
Okay.
And as long as your grass will grow nicely, nice green.
And when do you water your lawn? What time of day is best?
The best time of day is either early morning.
Okay.
You know, it depends a little bit on your local bylaws as well. Early morning is perfect, or early evening, but make sure your lawn dries up before dark.
Okay, that's what I've heard,
that's
because
right,
then you can get into some mildew and situations
exactly,
like
that's
that,
when
right?
you get disease, that's right.
Okay, so,
yes,
it's stressful.
So,
okay, that's why you have so many products, right? Because you can run into so many issues.
Yes.
Can't you?
There's many different products, but again, even if the issues, they should be fine. So for most people, if you fertilize and you water occasionally, and you cut at that 3 inches height, you'll have a perfect lawn for the entire summer.
I love that.
Yes.
Okay, but again, you do run into certain things. So let's talk about some of these products here that you have.
Yes. So we've got some of the eager golfers, of course, that come out. They like to practice their putting on their lawns. Or their big golf swing.
And we know that's very damaging. We've seen what it does to an actual golf course.
So we get these divots, or we get the dogs actually that also walk the neighborhood and leave some marks on your lawn.
Right, that's the thing. So you have your own dog, and sometimes you can force him to go to a certain area, but there's other people's dogs that are coming down the sidewalk, and and they tend to gravitate to where a dog has previously been. So you start to get this brown, almost like this circular, spot on your lawn. So this will actually help feed that area.
This will actually help that. And what we've done with this product, it has lime with the seed, and with a little bit of mulch, all in one package. And all you do is just kind of rake it up, make it a little bit loose, apply this, and you water it. And the lime neutralizes, of course, the mark that has been left behind by the pet.
I love it.
And it will come back in about a week to 10 days.
Oh, that's great.
So it's perfect.
That is very, very good. And what is this?
These are some of your grass seeds that we will be looking at. And of course, it's very important when you want a healthy lawn, it depends on the growing conditions that you have. So if you really have dense shade, it is very difficult to grow grass. You have to make sure that your lawn gets at least 4 hours of sunshine. We do have a special shade mix for that. There's also something that's quite interesting, which is your high traffic. So you want to make sure if there's lots of footsteps, there's a different blend for that.
And I think that's really important to identify before you come to TERRA and you look at all these different products. Really look at again how much shade, how much sun you have, and what type of traffic area, because then you can address your needs and you can still have that perfect lawn.
Yes.
And again, also I mean, I was commenting on this because it's such a perfect product.
Yes.
It makes it so easy for people to just attach your hose right to it.
Yeah, just attach the hose, and this is again for the overseeding. It's a special formulation so that it stimulates the root growth of the new seed, and it's perfect. It helps establish when you do your overseeding or the patch repairs.
Now you're mentioning to me that if you do all the appropriate steps, you should actually, in your proper watering and feeding, you shouldn't really have a lot of weeds in your lawn. But if you do, you have solutions for that as well.
If you do, we do have some solutions.
Okay.
There's the Weed Be Gone, which again, it's important that you use products that are made for lawns so it doesn't kill the grass.
Right.
And what this does is you simply apply with a spray bottle.
Okay.
It comes in other applications as well where you can hook it up to your hose.
Okay.
And that will take care of some of the weeds.
That's the thing, because there are things that will actually kill your weeds but kill your lawn as well.
That's
so
right.
you have to really pay attention to that.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we should talk a little bit about that we have here. This is amazing how you can really, again, the appropriate amount of fertilizer to your lawn is really important.
Yes.
So you tell me about this and how you have the gauge and everything.
Many of our customers find it difficult to know what setting or what rate to apply either fertilizer or seed. So what we've done, Scott, is we've simply made it a dial on our spreaders, and whether this is a push spreader or the little one over there, which is for the smaller
it's
lots.
just a little tiny guy hiding back here.
That's
I'll
right.
show you him. It's cute.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We've indicated on the back of the bag on all of our products the applicator setting. So you see a dial right here and what number to use. So it corresponds to the fertilizer and the setting on this particular spreader right here or on that one over there.
Very good. So that makes it really handy. Again, not a lot of, some people don't have a lot of green space, so then they just have this small little area they have to take care of. But you still have to take care of that spot, right?
Yes.
I mean, it can be easy to neglect. So really, again, there are just so many options and things that that you can do now. As we move through the summer and we get into June and July, again, it's just about taking care and again maintaining, right?
Taking care. And again, for most people, if you can maintain a healthy lawn, maintain the same regimen. As I said, the fertilizer lasts for about 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
If it's going to be a really hot summer or there's water restrictions, there's obviously the option of letting your lawn go dormant. And it's critical that in the fall, once it starts cooling off a little bit again, you get the water back on it, and then it's time for your fall fertilizer. Again, if on a healthy lawn, it can both sustain insect problems and also your weed problems.
Now again, sometimes people at this time of year are discovering that they've had interesting little rodents in their backyard digging the daylights out of their grass. What generally is that why are they doing this?
Mostly these are skunks or raccoons, and what they come for is the grubs, of course.
Grubs. Now how do you keep the grubs away?
Grubs, the best thing that we have is nematodes. Ideally, if you have a healthy lawn and you fertilize, your grass can keep up with the damage that the insects are doing. Sometimes you may give them a little bit of help of nematodes, and nematodes are little parasites that actually attack the adult larvae.
So again, all these problems can be solved if you keep on top of your lawn and you keep a perfect balance.
Correct.
Then you're not going to have those grubs doing what they do, and then the animal's going to get them.
That's correct. A little regular attention to your lawn will allow it for the year.
Go a long way. So you can come to any TERRA, and all these products are available. Ask all the staff here because they know what they're doing and what to recommend. And again, just know your lawn and then that way if there are questions, well, I don't know if I have shade or sun or anything. But thank you, Ben. That's really good information. And again, all the Scott's products are available. So make sure you come and take care of your lawn. Have that beautiful lawn all of your neighbors will be jealous of. That's it for now. We'll be back with more.
Told you Mom was coming this weekend, right?
No, you left that part out. Her first visit this weekend? Look around. We're not ready for that.
Where are you going?
To TERRA. Where do you think?
This is amazing. You're amazing.
Well, we had a little help.
TERRA, where color lives.
Heritage perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Dr. Sarah Penney from Hamilton Health and Wellness Center up on the Hamilton Mountain, and you are a naturopathic doctor.
I am, yes.
So let's, to some people are say, okay, I've heard that maybe I should go to one, but what does that mean and what is different about a naturopathic doctor?
Yeah, so that's a common source of confusion. So as a naturopathic doctor, I'm a primary care provider, which means I see all the same concerns as a family doctor does, but I have a different set of tools that I use to encourage health in my patients. So The tools I use as a naturopath are clinical nutrition. I talk to people a lot about how what they eat every day affects their health, and I do use supplements when appropriate, but I personally recognize the importance of not having a patient take 5 supplements 5 times a day, as I couldn't even do that myself.
Right.
I also use Asian medicine and acupuncture. That's something people are very interested in, I find. Acupuncture is, of course, the insertion of very fine needles into certain points in the body to affect kind of energetic balances from a traditional Chinese medicine perspective. I also use acupuncture in a more stick it where it hurts approach.
Yeah, exactly. And it amazingly works. It actually does.
I've seen great results for pain relief. I also use botanical medicine, so using herbs as medicine in the form of teas, powders, capsules, or something called tinctures, which are a concentrated liquid extract of a herb in an alcohol base.
And that's amazing because that stuff's very powerful, and you have to
Definitely.
really know what you're doing when you're messing around with that stuff, right?
Yeah, especially when people are on medications.
Well, absolutely, and that's the part where you can introduce like contraindications and everything, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I also talk to all my patients about kind of more lifestyle counseling, so talking about their stress levels, their sleeping habits, their exercise habits, and
So
that's
common
really important for our
nowadays.
long-term health. Yeah,
Absolutely, and it is, and that's something to recognize. So, again, there's just so many a different approach, really, right? It's a different side of things, and
Definitely.
sometimes in conjunction with your regular doctor can work as
absolutely.
well. Right?
Yeah, I always like to make clear that I'm in no way against conventional medicine, and it
Absolutely.
is definitely very important in many situations. Yeah, definitely work with medical
I
doctors
think
when
that's
I can.
great, and that's even better because now you have a huge force behind you that can help you versus just one side of things. Right?
Definitely,
Okay.
yeah.
So why don't we talk about some of the typical nutrients that people are lacking and how we can get them into our bodies and what they do for our bodies, just to give some examples of what we have here.
Yeah, certainly. So a lot of the time what I see, I get patients to do a diet diary after the first visit.
Yes.
Every visit. A lot of people hate doing that.
That's
but,
going to be interesting, right? Because
yeah.
some people are probably trying to be extra good. I had lots of salmon today, and you're like, whatever.
Yeah, but I always tell them I'm not judging them, and I just want them to tell the truth
Yeah,
so that
that's
we can
what
help
you really
improve
wanna
their
know.
health. And so a lot of what I see is people are focusing on a lot of processed foods in their diet, which are often very nutrient depleted, and people aren't getting enough fiber, enough protein, enough fruits and vegetables. So those are the things I counsel my patients on increasing in their diet.
Okay,
and
because
how
you're
we can do
also
that.
adding a lot of sugars and sodiums and things to your body that you don't need. as
Definitely,
well,
and
right?
preservatives, and yes.
So it's like off. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's
exactly.
move over to, obviously we know we need some healthy greens, but you have some different ones here that maybe some people wouldn't necessarily recognize, like this guy.
So I have some great greens here. This one is actually called a collard green. So there are lots of different kind of soup recipes you can use for this, but one of my favorites is actually using it to make wraps instead of a white flour wrap. You layer 2 leaves, wash them well, layer 2 leaves, and just kind of wrap like a little chickpea salad or a quinoa salad up in it, or even kind of chicken or whatever you want.
Right, absolutely. There's lots of options, and it actually has a pretty nice taste to it. It's
Yeah,
not
mild, yeah.
Right, it's not. Some people associate certain grains with bitterness, but that's actually a great idea. And then again, you're also cutting back on if you're cutting back on gluten or carbs in general, then this is going to help you on that front as well.
Yeah,
and you're getting so
certainly.
much from this.
Yeah, definitely in terms of nutrients, packed with nutrients.
Exactly. Okay, and
Kale. So hopefully this is everybody's favorite by now. Kale is kind of the emerging superfood of
people are getting it in their
2013.
face, right? Okay, you
Yeah,
gotta eat
definitely.
kale.
So kale is very rich in many nutrients.
Yeah.
General phytonutrient, antioxidants, fiber, iron. And so there's lots of different ways you can prepare kale. You can kind of lightly saute it with a little bit of olive oil and garlic. But the one thing I found when cooking kale is it does taste a little bit better if you rub it first.
Yes, I've heard about that. So
Under
you're kind of
some
breaking
water.
it down a bit, right?
Exactly, yeah, just kind of making it a bit softer.
Yep.
The other thing I like to do is just kind of make a kale salad, and putting a nice dressing on it, I can almost eat a whole head full of kale.
Yeah, and how great is that, right?
It's
because
wonderful,
that's
yeah.
the problem. Is a lot of people are like, how do I eat kale? How do I get?
Exactly.
And again, you can also put it into a juice, into a
Yeah,
smoothie, a blender, right? And
Or kale chips is great now
kale
too.
chips too.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And we have beets.
Yeah. So beets are specifically kind of one that I picked out for liver health. So beets contain a compound called betaine, which boosts our production of antioxidants in the liver. Any kind of bright root vegetables or bright fruits and vegetables in general are generally high in antioxidants and helpful nutrients for our body.
Okay, so good stuff to know. Now let's moving on a little bit over here. And so people looking at this are like, okay, what is this?
That's turmeric.
Yeah. So how does this help you?
So turmeric is a wonderful anti-inflammatory inflammatory spice. I use it a lot for inflammation in patients with inflammation. It's actually best absorbed in an oil base, so I often recommend people mix it with a little bit of olive oil and honey to taste, and use it as a little paste and take it like that. Turmeric is also actually very good for liver health. It's been shown in animal studies to help regenerate liver cells when they're damaged by things like fatty liver, which a lot of us experience nowadays.
Yeah, very good. And a little bit of fiber.
Yeah, so what I've got here is flaxseed. Flaxseed is definitely my fiber of choice. It has some healthy omega-3 oils in it, but a common misconception I want to clear up is that the omega-3s in flax are kind of equal to the omega-3s in fish. They're two different forms, and our body actually absorbs the omega-3s in fish a lot better than plant sources. So that's an important distinction to make, but it is still a very healthy food.
Source for you.
And what I love using it for is fiber. So it provides both soluble and insoluble fiber, but you always want to have the flaxseed ground because we don't naturally break down flaxseed when we eat it.
Okay, right, that's right. Okay, yeah, the seed will just go right through you.
Exactly.
Seed on the other end. Okay, so lemon also another part of it. This is actually helps a little bit cleansing with the body, right?
Exactly, yeah. So lemons are great for a few different reasons. First of all, that kind of bitter taste is very important for your liver health again. So squeezing about 1/8 of a lemon into water, it doesn't take much. I usually cut it up and keep it in the fridge and just take a fresh piece out and squeeze it in. That bitter helps stimulate the release of a digestive enzyme called bile into our intestine. Bile contains a lot of the toxins that our liver processes, and that's the way of our bodies to get rid of that bile. It goes into the gut for excretion. So yeah, stimulating the digestive system is a good role of liver.
So we're talking about a little bit, you know, I could talk to you probably for the next couple of hours, but we're running out of time. A little bit of spring detox tips for people and how they can get rid of some of the stuff some of the habits they picked up maybe over the winter.
Exactly.
What should we do? What should we take out of our bodies right now and put in?
So
all of these things, right?
Yeah, definitely. So it's nice to go into summer with a clean slate, and spring is really a time of growth and renewal and regeneration in nature, so we like to do that in our body too. So I often recommend for kind of a spring detox that people go on a 2 to 3 week cleanse of sorts. And I'm not talking about a colon cleanse or a juice fast or any kind of fast. You can really help support your body with these nutrients just by taking out certain things from your diet for a short period of time. Yeah, two of the main things I know you mentioned, gluten and dairy, are two things that I recommend people go off for a short period of time, just to give their body a break. And coffee and alcohol are two other ones that.
There you go. All right, we're going to have to have you back on the show because we've run out of time. But Dr. Sarah Penney again in the Hamilton Mountain, Hamilton Health and Wellness Center. Thank you so much. We'll be back with more Terra at Home.
Told you Mom was coming this weekend, right?
No, you left that part out. Her first visit this weekend? Look around, we're not ready for that.
Where are you going?
To Terra, where do you think?
This is amazing. You're amazing.
Well, we had a little help.
TERRA, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Good morning, welcome back to Terra at Home. We are in the kitchen with Chef Rachel, and I see that we have some mushrooms in front of us. You're going to stuff these guys.
I am.
Cool.
Yep, so this is an appetizer idea.
Okay.
Okay, nice one for the summertime, now that it's starting to get a little nicer out.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to use cremini mushrooms, which are just a small portobello mushroom.
Okay.
But you could also do a bigger version of this and use full portobello mushrooms, you know, and do one per person.
Ooh,
in this case, like 4 of these per person.
Sure.
On, you know, a bed of greens, and we're going to finish it off with a balsamic drizzle.
Wow.
Okay, so I'll tell you how to do that.
Okay.
So to get the stuffing started, quite simple. We're going to do some white onion to start. So just saute all of these vegetables up in a pan, a little bit of oil on a medium-high heat, just for a couple minutes, just to get them softened, because they are going to go back in the oven to cook.
Okay.
So we have some white onion here, garlic, about a clove or two, and just get that cooking until you can start to smell the garlic.
And I think a lot of times when people think of little appetizers like this, it's like, oh, that seems so labor intensive, and people are going to pop them in the mouth and they're going to be gone in 2 seconds. But these actually aren't that bad, right? I mean, it's easy to take out the stem on these. These are easy to prepare, and then all you really is doing the filling and.
Yeah, so it really actually is a simple, a simple kind of
and
appetizer.
And you can do a whole lot of them at once, right?
Yes.
So it's not like you're trying to wrap pastries or whatever, right?
Right.
Okay.
And again, even easier if you're using the full portobellos, because you have, you know, a quarter of the work.
Yeah.
So get desauteing, which is great. What I do is I pull out the stems in each mushroom, clean it off. I usually just use a damp paper towel just to wipe off any dirt that may be on there. Pull out the stem and chop it up fine, and we'll put that in the mixture as well too.
Okay.
So a good way to use that.
Yeah.
Add more, you know, more filling without necessarily more ingredients. So it's a good filler. So put that in for a minute, and we can season with salt and pepper. And I've also pre-cooked some bacon.
Bacon. Bacon makes everything taste so great.
It's a nice touch. So my rule of thumb is I usually do a piece per person. So if we're serving 2 to 3 pieces or so, should be fine. So that's pre-cooked and just chopped up. So we can add that to this mixture as well. And like I said, we don't really need to cook it for too long.
So it's definitely key to be chopping most of the ingredients quite finely, right? You don't need, I mean, you're trying to fit it inside of here too, right? So that is definitely an important step.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that looks good. We'll just leave that for another 30 seconds to a minute or so. This we'll use later to top it off, so I'll explain that after. The majority of the filling is cream cheese and blue cheese.
Okay. Now, can you use light cream cheese?
Of course.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Of
I always
course
like
you
to
can.
ask that because I think it's amazing how they both taste so much the same.
Yes.
Like it was been a fantastic invention to be able to use that as an option. I mean,
because-
you are throwing blue cheese in there, so.
Yeah.
And bacon.
But yeah, when you mix it all up with the other ingredients, then bacon in the oven, you can't really tell. So for sure, I use it a lot, the light. Okay. This is good, so I'm just going to take that off the heat and just let it cool slightly.
Okay.
So I'll explain this really simple. So I just want to get it softened, so leave it out at room temperature. Or you can also buy the whipped cream cheese, which makes it a little easier because it's already whipped.
Manual labor.
That's okay. This gives you a little good workout. So you want to get it all softened. The blue cheese that I'm using here is Gorgonzola.
Okay.
So it's a little more soft than some of the other ones.
Yeah. The softer texture to it.
But again, not too potent, if you want to use that word. Just kind of
Yeah, because some people
medium.
aren't sure they love blue cheese, but if you're putting in something like this where it's mixed ingredients, and again, you're using a milder version of it, you're just going to get a nice flavor from it. But I mean, blue cheese can be very intense, right? So this is going to just take the edge off a bit.
Yeah.
Especially obviously having it mixed with cream cheese.
Right, and because it's already soft, it makes it easier to
look at
mix.
that. That's easy.
So we just want to mix this up well, and then when that mixture has cooled slightly, we'll mix that in.
Wow.
And it's just as simple as that. It doesn't take long at all.
Straightforward.
And then we can put a little dollop in each of these and put it in the oven. So I have the oven preheated to 350. And you want to put them in for about 20 minutes or so. And then what we'll do when they come out is top it with a little bit of panko and a little bit more cheese. I'm going to put fontina cheese, just a little bit. You don't want to take away from the blue cheese, but just add something extra on top, and then put it back in for another minute or so.
Just to kind of brown up the top, crispy and oh, sounds awesome. Okay.
So then I'll explain to you the balsamic that we're going to put on. So we're going to finish it off with a balsamic drizzle. Now, I have been to Italy and had the pleasure of trying wonderful balsamic vinegar that's aged and a lot different than the balsamic that you just find on your grocery store shelf. You can get imported balsamic vinegar here at specialty shops, but it's going to cost you a little bit more money.
Sure. And the more it's been condensed and it's really quite concentrated flavor, some of it thicker it in, sometimes the more expensive it gets too, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So a way to kind of do this in your own home without going out and spending $100 on a small little bottle of the good stuff, though if you do get a chance to do that, I definitely recommend it.
Right.
Is just to buy the balsamic vinegar that you can get in the grocery store. put it in a pot. So I did about a cup and a half in this pot. And as you can see, I've had it simmering. It's started to reduce, and it's coating the bottom of the pan. And it's obviously, it's come down. So
really
it's now, you know, down to a quarter of a cup or so.
It really has quite a nice sweet smell to it, doesn't it?
It does get a lot sweeter when it's reduced.
Yeah.
So it's basically that easy. Just put your 2 cups in there, turn it onto a medium-high simmer, let it simmer for 20 minutes or so. Keep an eye on it because there's a fine line between not quite done and overdone.
Oh, okay.
Because once you take it off the heat and you let it sit for a bit, it is going to thicken naturally as well as it cools.
Okay.
So you want that nice thick consistency, so we can drizzle it over top, and it kind of keeps it.
That sounds like that is going to be a very nice pairing with these.
You know, keeps its shape, if you will.
Okay. All right, very good. So what we'll do is we'll take a break, and obviously while we're on break, we're going to get these all set up, and we'll get them in the oven, and we'll come back, and we'll finally put it all together for you and show what it's like, and I'm going to try one. That's it for now. We'll be right back.
Your mama's coming this weekend, right?
No, you left that part out. Her first visit this weekend? Look around, we're not ready for that.
Where are you going?
To Terra, where do you think?
This is amazing. You're amazing.
Well, we had a little help.
Terra, where color lives.
Welcome back to Terra at Home. We have we've just taken our mushrooms out of the oven, stuffed. Okay, so you were mentioning that you added a little bit more, you added some fontina cheese on top.
Fontina cheese and a little bit of panko breadcrumbs. Yeah, and for another 5 or 10 minutes, they can go back in the oven.
Okay.
And then we'll plate it. So I like, arugula is one of my favorite favorite salad greens. So I put a little bit on the bottom of the plate just for color and, you know, to help keep the mushrooms in one place.
Now, how long did you have the mushrooms in the oven for the first time? The first
About 20
stage?
minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
about 20 minutes. So we can arrange that on the plate, and then about 4 mushrooms per person. It's a nice appetizer. Ooh, it's a nice appetizer if you're entertaining.
It is. And that's the great part about these is that you can serve them as just like a little popper on a tray, or again, you can kind of serve this even as like an appetizer type thing, where again, prepared this way is actually quite nice.
Yeah, because you do have a little salad underneath it. Like I said, if you were going to do that big portobello mushroom and just do one, you're going to need to cook it for a little bit longer, first of all. But on a bed of greens, it can be, you know, a lunch or a light dinner.
And that's the thing. You could go crazy and create even a bit more of a salad with it, and really have just quite a
meal,
a nice meal. That's very great. Okay. Okay, so look at that. That's like sticky now.
Yeah, so it has reduced a lot. It's down to, you know, a tablespoon or 2. The bottom of the pan is really coated, and but we do have a little bit left. We get on a spoon and just drizzle it over.
So just a reminder, all of Chef Rachel's recipes are on our website, terragreenhouses.com. And again, this just, see how much, that looks so pretty too.
There you go.
So just a little bit, you don't need a lot.
You don't need a lot because it does have a lot of flavor.
Okay, all right, good to know.
Very
I can't wait to try this.
concentrated.
Well, thank you,
There you
Chef
go.
Rachel.
Thank you.
Another good meal, good idea for entertaining as we get closer to the season. That's it for today. Have yourself a great weekend.